Hey friends, and welcome back. If you saw my IKEA haul, then you saw I was doing some really cool things with the boys' room, like these lamps next to their bed, and these blankets, and this pillow. All are from that IKEA haul. So if you want to check that out, I will link that for you guys too. Hi, say hi. I also got each boy a shelf for their bed so they could put like their drinking water and some of their stuff on that as well. But I wanted to fill up this space with a really big decal of each boy's name. So this is Carter's bunk, and then above us we'll have Camden's name too. So I wanted a really big decal, but I didn't quite know how I wanted to do it. I've seen letters that have been on like underneath their beds like that, but I didn't know really necessarily wanted to get 3D letters because then you're paying by letter and that's a little bit expensive. So I had a great idea to use some contact paper from Dollar Tree that is just $1, and I'm going to use my Silhouette and make a huge decal, and I'm going to show you how I do it.
So the first thing that I'm going to do is design my decal in Silhouette Studio, and I am just changing the size of my page here to be 36 inches because I want it to be that long, but actually I want it to be 36 inches. So I'm going to add a couple inches to the edge of my surface that I'm working with. That way I can really get that full 36 inches on my design, because the contact paper is going to be long enough. I'm not going to have a problem running out of paper at the end. So I just bump it up an inch or two so I can use the entire space that I want to make my design in. So I am just typing Carter's name, and I'm going to fill that in for you guys so you can see it a little bit better. And I'm just going to stretch it so it is as big as possible for the size of my mat, or not my mat. I'm not using a mat for this, but for the size of my design space, essentially. So I am stretching it as far as I can without distorting the letters, but because I want the letters as big as I can possibly get them, I am also going to stretch the letters a little bit vertically and a little bit horizontally to make the most out of the space that I have. And once I'm happy with the design, I can go ahead and start working with my contact paper. And this comes from the Dollar Tree, but the roll is going to be too long to fit into your machine since your machine is really made for 12 inches. So I marked it at 13 inches. You can also do like 12 and a half to give you a little bit of a grace. And I am going to just go ahead and cut that bit off of my contact paper. So I just kept it in the roll. It keeps it from kind of like unrolling as you're cutting it in the size that you need it. So keep it in that plastic and just cut it. And now you can see I have a little bit, I have a ½ inch on each side to load into my machine. And I am just using regular vinyl settings for this. So my blade is at a 1, my speed's at a 5, and my thickness is at a 10. And that's just the default. I didn't change anything. And then I just stick it in my machine without a mat, and I am letting it do its thing. So then this peels very easily, and I'm just weeding it as if I would be weeding any other vinyl that I would be working with. Only this was $1 for a yard and a half of vinyl for the wall. So it's great, especially for such a large decal. And I'm just weeding this. So this vinyl actually is quite old. It's been in my laundry room for some time, so I think that's what is happening here. I've never had this happen before with this vinyl, but of course when I'm filming for you guys, it's going to do this. So the paper was just getting stuck to the backing for some reason, and it only happened right here on the C, which was probably the part that was exposed more in my laundry room. So I don't know. I just kind of worked around it the best I could. It wasn't really a big problem in the end, but I did want to explain to you that that did happen, and I don't know why that happened. Again, I use this contact paper for stencils all the time, and that's never happened. So, I don't know. There's always a first time for everything, I guess. So, I am just, again, weeding the rest of Carter's name. And then I'm good to go with my really big decal for his name. I'm going to use press and seal as kind of a transfer tape, and that works really well with this adhesive vinyl. Well, it's not vinyl, this adhesive contact paper, I guess. And I actually don't stretch it. I don't know why I didn't use it so I could cover the C completely and the R completely at the end, but I just line it up the best I can. It would have helped me if I had it more on the C, but also it wasn't a terribly big deal. So you see I kind of hang it off the C a little bit, but it's going to keep all of my letters together so they space evenly as I put it on his wall. And I'm just using a card here to smooth everything down so all of those letters are going to adhere to the press and seal when I go to put it on the wall. So I'm ready to put it on the wall, and I'm just using extra bits of the contact paper just as tape to kind of hang it in place so I can measure it and make sure that it's where I want it before I put it on the wall. Now, if you didn't want to use press and seal, or you didn't have press and seal, you very well could just pull these letters off and put them on the wall just like stickers, but I really wanted it to look kind of really clean and really neat, and wanted the spacing just right so it will line up with Camden's name on the top bunk when I do his name too. So I am using the press and seal to make sure everything transfers. I'm also measuring my letters to make sure they are all equal distance and it's straight, and I'm good to go. And then I am just peeling the top layer of that press and seal off and taking the backing away from Carter's decal. And because it's on that press and seal, everything kind of stays right where I need it to be. And then once I get all of that backing off, I have a little bit of room to work with. So it doesn't quite stick as kind of strong, I would say, I guess, as adhesive vinyl, which is great because you have some work to play with. If you've worked with adhesive vinyl before, sometimes like the second it touches whatever you're working with, that's it. Wherever it lands, that's where it's going to stay. This isn't the case. You're going to have a little bit of wiggle room, which is great when you're applying things to the wall. So I'm going to start with the middle letters. So the T, I'm going to go ahead and stick that down and then move over to the E. I'm also going to lose my measuring tape. It's gone now forever. And then I'm going to stick the R and then move outwards. So start in the middle and move outwards. And then I'm going to stick that C into place, and I'm just starting at the top and following it all the way down so there are no wrinkles in it, since it wasn't really attached to that press and seal my transfer tape very well. And I'm going to go ahead and use that card again to make sure everything is pressed onto the wall really nicely. And there we go. That's Carter's name on his wall in his bed, and it's nice and big and I love it. And I'm pressing it down again with that card one more time, and I'm all done. Oh my goodness, it looks so great. This is also really renter friendly because the contact paper is going to peel off and not do any damage to your wall. Finally what?
Put that in there with Camden's.
I haven't done Camden's yet. Do you like it?
But you got Camden's.
Hop in there. You like it?
Why do you make like this?
So it's nice and neat. And Carter approves. Thanks so much for watching, guys. As always, you can find more from us here. Make sure you subscribe so you can follow all of our adventures. Give it a big thumbs up, tap that bell, and let me know down in the comments if you have used Dollar Tree contact paper in any of your crafting, or if you think this is a great idea and how you could make big decals. What would you make? I'm really excited about this. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.